She said, "Oh, you're so lucky." And I had to stop her right there. Story time. So the other day I met a lady and I introduced myself to her. I told her what I do, that I'm a love architect, marriage coach, relationship coach. I mentioned my husband in the course of the conversation. And she looked at me and said two things that I want to discuss with you today and address. She said, "Oh, you're so lucky." And right down the conversation, she also said, "So you guys don't fight, right? Because you're a marriage coach, you know it all." Alright, let's talk about this. Sis, we need to talk. Because both of these things are completely wrong. And I don't want you or any other person walking around believing them, because they will cost you and cost you big. Let me be very, very clear with you. I am not lucky in love. No. No. Let me tell you what lucky is. Lucky is finding a $20 bill in an old coat pocket. Lucky is getting the last parking spot on a rainy day when you want to quickly dash into that grocery store. Lucky is not how you end up in a healthy, thriving relationship with an emotionally intelligent man. That is strategy. And I'll tell you about myself. See, I was very intentional about who I allowed into my life, into my space, about the kinds of standards I set, and I kept them. I was intentional about the work that I did on myself before ever saying yes to anyone. I didn't stumble into a good man. I knew exactly what I was doing, what I was looking for, and I wasn't going to settle for anything less. See, when he showed up, I had the clarity to recognize him and also the wholeness to receive him. That is not luck. That is work. Hard work. Here is what gets me. We call it luck and we basically say, "Oh, healthy love is random. It just happens to some people and it doesn't happen to some other people." That is a lie. A big lie that keeps many women just waiting around to be found instead of preparing. Sis, you don't need luck. What you need is strategy. Now, to the second thing she said. She said, "Oh, so that means you guys don't fight. You don't ever fight, right?" And I told her the truth. No, we don't fight, but we have conflict. That is not a contradiction at all. That is a distinction that changes everything. Conflict in a relationship is absolutely normal. Conflict is actually healthy. Conflict just means that two people exist in the same space. They have different perspectives, they have different needs, and sometimes they just bump into each other. That is not the problem. That is just marriage. The question is never, do you not have conflict? The question, however, is what do you do with that conflict? In our home, conflict doesn't escalate. It doesn't turn into screaming matches. It doesn't turn into days of silence or words that we can't take back. No. We've built the skills and the safety to walk through it without going to war over it. And that didn't happen by accident either. It happened because we both came into this marriage committed, not just to each other, but to the health of us. So, if you've been waiting for luck to bring you the right man, I need you to shift that mindset today. And if you've been afraid of conflict, afraid that conflict means something is broken, I need you to release that. A good marriage is not conflict free. It is, however, conflict safe. And you can have that. But it starts with you choosing right and choosing well before you are ever emotionally invested. That is the work I do, and that's what I want for you. If you're ready to stop living your love life to chance and start being strategic about the partner that you choose, the link is in my bio. Let's have a chat. Let's build this your love on purpose. It's important.